part to this learning today. And welcome Ms. Jurina Caparal.
Hi, Ma'am
Hello,
Jurina.
Ms. Jurina.
Hello, thank you, Ma'am Rosie and Ma'am Neddy. So welcome lahat sa HR Calabarzon. Let's keep this session interactive and full of learnings.
Yan. Kaya po kayo mga ka-HR dyan na gusto pong mapanood ang ating HRE knowledge for free, please do subscribe us sa ating HR Calabarzon Group YouTube account. You can scan our QR code para po maka-join at makapag-subscribe. So ano nga po ba ang HR Calabarzon? Ang HR Calabarzon is a registered non-profit organization na nagpo-provide ng virtual and face-to-face learning sa lahat ng HR professional, enthusiast, and a small medium business owner in the Philippines. Nilagay ko na po Philippines kasi talaga namang nag-wide na po ang range ng HR Calabarzon. Please do join us sa ating Viber group community. At talaga naman pong napakabilis dumami ng ating Viber group community. Please do scan the QR code to join. At dito po ay wala po kaming hindi pinapayagang magtanong, mag-inquire, mag-post. Basta po marami tayong mga HR gurus, mentor, and speaker na sasagutin ang ating mga katanungan.
For our general reminders during the HR e-knowledge webinar, the Zoom meeting room will be accessible 15 minutes ahead of schedule. Ensure that your video is active and your audio is set to mute. Kindly place any question in the chat box or on our Facebook live post. Your complete attention and cooperation are requested to fully enhance our learning experience. As you know, this webinar is free of charge and the e-certificate will be issued upon payment of a minimal fee of 50 pesos per attendee per webinar. So please note that we do not entertain e-certificate requests via email or Facebook Messenger.
For participants who will get e-certificate, reminders po ulitin lang natin yung sinabi ni ma'am na the webinar is free for all. And we provide e-certificate for a minimal fee of 50 pesos for webinar per attendee. Kung hindi naman po kayo magre-request ng e-certificate, okay lang po. Libre po ang ating webinar this afternoon. Ang ating back-to-back learning this afternoon ay libre po at pwede po nating i-share sa ating mga ka-HR. The e-certificate will be sent to you 3 working days after the workshop, not including Saturday, Sunday, and holiday, after the validation of your minimal fee of 50 pesos per webinar for attendee through GCash 0919-009-6339 and the Google Form attendance. Please do ensure that the Google Form is completely and accurately filled up with the following important information. Kagaya po ng inyong full name, email address, reference number, and proof of payment. Note that the link and QR codes are available through comment section of the YouTube, FB Live, and Zoom chat box. The link and payment is open until tomorrow, Sunday. Take note that the payment is non-refundable. Our GCash number is 0919-009-6339. Please do scan our QR code para po diretso po kayo sa GCash number natin. So ito na po ang ating HR Calabarzon merchandise. Our polo shirt na suot po ng mga board of directors and volunteers ay ang ating polo shirt worth 650 pesos.
Ang ating HR statement shirt na worth 250 pesos.
Our pillow for only 150 pesos.
Ang ating white mug for 150 pesos.
Ang ating white frosted mug for only 230 pesos.
At ang ating 2024 planner at 350 pesos.
Siyempre po, meron tayong metallic ballpen for 50 pesos.
At keychains na available for 50 pesos.
Meron din po tayong bamboo ballpen with case. Magandang pangregalo sa ating mga ka-HR for only 100 pesos. Magic Mag for only 250 pesos. We would like to thank the following sponsor we have this afternoon. Siyempre po ang Formidea, your strategic partner utilizing servicification in identifying relevant business intervention. For more details, please do call them at 0917-521-4253 or email them at inquiries@formideaph.com. Siyempre po, para sa ating mga uniform and other requirements sa office, tayo mga HR lahat, hindi lang uniform, pati yung mga onboarding natin, mga mugs, yung lahat po na kagaya ng pinost natin kanina na merchandise, Beck Printing Services, you could call them at 0936-566-1609 or email them at beckstudio2014@gmail.com. Siyempre po, para sa ating aircon, sa ating mga office, kagaya ko ngayon, naka-aircon tayo ngayon, brought to you by Jacinto Olivar Air Condition Trading. Please do call them at 0917-815-9508 or email them at aircontrading.ph@gmail.com. At syempre, di ba? Hindi lang tayo nanay sa ating mga office, nanay rin tayo ng ating mga babies. Kaya kung kailangan po natin ng mga dagdag na kasayahan para sa mga birthday parties, even engagement sa atin sa office. Hindi lang po pwede ito sa mga bata. Pwede rin po ito sa kids at heart. Please do conduct Butterfly Kiddie Salon and get your girls ready for unlimited makeover. They have hair and makeup, nail art, face painting, glitter tattoo. So call them at 0906-484-6339. Para naman po sa ating mga requirements sa ating posting o job ads, we are really connected now with GCash through their PasaJob G-Jobs. This is powered by GCash and PasaJob. Yan po. Para po tayo magkaroon ng PasaJob, you could pay only 1,000 for each ads. Good for 1 month na po yun. Siyempre, we would like to thank MaxiLife. If you need insurance requirement for your office or for employees, please do call Miss Raquel Coaching at 0917-504-2095. For your HMO requirement, please do call Mr. Ricky Malapit at 0919-223-2977 at Secure PH. And for your complete wellness, health, and total rewards, please do call Mr. Dion Flores at 0968-853-5003. Siyempre po, kung ang ating mga office ay merong ISO, ang mga tao naman din po ay merong Investor in People, Inspiring Partner Inc. na talaga naman nagde-deliver ng partner sa buong Pilipinas. Please do call them at 0917-598-8360. And thank you to Sing HR, a complete heart to rehire partner para sa ating mga HR. So, guys, let's all invite our participant this afternoon. Lahat ng nanonood sa Facebook, sa YouTube, sa Zoom chat, sa Zoom, please do join us sa nalalapit na mga learning event ng HR Calabarzon. On May 4, Employee Engagement Strategies. On May 11, Capability Building.
On June 1, Adapting to Changing and Legal Regulations. And June 15, Managing Workplace Conflict and Office Politics. On July 6, Employee Retention Techniques. On July 27, Online Summit 2024. And for August 10, Data-Driven HR Decision Making. August 24, Employer Branding Strategies. For September 7, Employee Recognition Strategies. And September 21, we have managing organization and employee performance, while for October 5, we have career pathing and development, and October 19, we have succession planning best practices.
We are also inviting all our leaders to level up leadership as an exceptional program exclusively designed by no other than Mr. Francis Kong for the 21st century leaders. With a wealth of experience, Mr. Kong impart invaluable lesson on essential internal skills known as a soft skill. The programs remain committed to the core principle of leadership while adapting to the changing times. Level Up Leadership offers 3 programs, Masterclass 2.0, The Excellent Advantage, and The Next Edge on May 15, 2024 from 9 a.m. to 5 o'clock at Space at 1 Ayala Makati. To register, please click https://levelupleadership.ph/rep/4/. So please do join us and register. This is for only 9,850 per head.
And we have our PaySmart, the streetwise guide to job analysis, evaluation, and salary design. This is a face-to-face paid learning session, and it will happen on May 18 on Saturday at Astoria Plaza with none other than our board of director and one of our mentors, Miss Vivian Cruz. Now, get the early bird while you still can. It's only 5,000 because the regular rate is at 6,000. So you can go ahead and scan that QR code and register today.
We also would like to invite you in the cohort 24 of Certified Recruitment and Selection Professional. This will be happening on May 31 to June 1. This is an online intensive learning and certification program. To register, please click www.certifiedhr.ph/register.
So if you're going to be a certified compensation and benefits professional, so we have cohort 24 happening on June 7 to 8, 2024, online certification and now tailored for Philippines by IHRI.
We are also inviting everyone for the paid online webinar of HR Calabarzon. This will be happening on June 29, 2024 from 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. The title or the topic is Strategic Sourcing and Analytics Workshop, Optimizing Recruitment Practices. We will be having Ms. Janine Mina and Mr. Eman Merida Jr. To register, please do scan the QR code and catch the early bird because the regular rate is 2,000 pesos. Also, we are inviting everyone to join us the first Get Hard Job Fair and Conference 2024. The time is now. Get hard for the future of work. This will be happening on July 26, 2024 from 8 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock at Mega Trade Hall 3, 5th levels SM Mega Mall B. To join and be part of the Get Hard Job Fair, please do message me at HR Calabarzon.
We also invite you to our another face-to-face paid learning, Finance Fluency for non-finance managers, budgeting, performance analysis, and impact on the bottom line, with none other than our mentor and board of director, Miss Vivian Cruz. You can go ahead and register now with our regular rates at 6,000, get 1,000 pesos off. You can go ahead and scan that QR code. This will be for 31st August 2024 at Astoria Plaza.
So, ayun na nga. Ang dami nating learning for this year. But, this afternoon, talaga namang pag-usapan natin, ano na nga ba ang nangyayari sa technology ng HR? Ano na nga ba ang nangyayari mula nung traditional HR ngayon sa may mga AI na. So, Ma'am Zorina, please do the honor on introducing our speaker and panelists this afternoon.
Our speaker for this afternoon session boasts over 2 decades of experience in HR with notable roles at Hopper, CSS, Corporate ICT Services, and Gameloft Philippines. She is currently the president and CEO of Uprush Social Geekers. She was earning her recognition as one of the top 100 Filipinos to follow on LinkedIn and among the 101 most fabulous global HR tech leaders by the World HRD Congress. She's also listed as one of LinkedIn's top 100 most influential Filipino women. She's currently delving as a full stack web developer, completing a diploma in industrial relations at UP Soler, and has attained certification as a paralegal from UP College of Law. Strong, independent, and influential. Everyone meet the president and CEO of Uprush Social Geekers, Miss Ronadale Florentino.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Ayan, sige. Are we going to introduce the panelists or do I?
Yes, ma'am. Introduce din na po natin ang panelists for our back-to-back learning this afternoon.
Okay.
Our first panelist is an esteemed expert of intersection of human resource and cutting-edge technology with over 10 plus years in tech industry and specializing in HR ERP solution. He worked with firms like ADP Sprout, BPOI, and Cadena HRMS. Proficient in HRIS, ATS, and performance system, implemented AI-driven HR analytics for talent acquisition. Let's also welcome the Regional Sales Manager of Sing HR, Mr. John J. Garfin.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, guys. Can you hear me po, Ms. Nelly?
Yep.
Hello?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Okay, pa.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Salamat po, for having me here in this community. Look forward to learning more from my fellow speakers. Yep, especially those Miss Rona. I look up to her for years, and so is Sir Miguel. Yep. Looking forward to learning and maybe sharing some insights about the HR technology for today's session. Thank you po.
Sir.
Salamat po.
Also, let's all welcome our last but not the least panelist. He is the multi-awarded and multi-certified HR professional. He is the CEO and managing partner of Circle Logica Group and concurrently the executive director of the International HR Institute, one of the top 100 Filipinos to follow in LinkedIn for 2019 to 2021. He is also the president of Clark HR Council, an association of HR professionals in Central Luzon. He is the general manager of the Philippine HR Assembly, a non-profit organization with vision of providing advanced professional learning to Filipino HR professionals. Let's all welcome the CEO and the managing partner of Circle Logica Group, Mr. Mikel Leroy Balansag. Hello, sir.
Hi, hello everyone. Very excited to be back and I'm looking forward to learning this afternoon.
And syempre, Ma'am Rona, this afternoon, we will learn something na talaga namang madalas nang ginagawa ng mga HR ngayon. Ano-ano po ba ang magiging take-away ng ating mga ka-HR for this afternoon?
Nako, maraming sorry, medyo inuubo tayo ngayon. Marami magandang magiging takeaway ng ating mga audience today because I would be speaking about something that's very close to my heart, and Ned's aware ka dito, and I've always been an advocate of the use of technology and even AI when it comes to HR processes and procedures, and I do believe that technology, yung ever-changing technology is one of the ways for HR not to get burnt out. So, isa yan sa mga pag-uusapan natin this afternoon.
And syempre, ayaw ko na silang mainip, ma'am. Please do share your screen para po mas marami na tayong matutunan. At syempre, guys, stay put po kayo after the learning session with Ma'am Rona. We will be having our panel discussion with the two panelists na talaga namang iba't iba ang galing nila pagdating sa HR technology this past few years.
Ayan, sige po. Share lang po natin. Wait lang po. Pagpasensyahan na po kung medyo inuubo at medyo magulong kapaligiran. Currently, we've just finished our class here in UP Soler. So medyo ano pa. Yung energy level ko paubos na for the day. But we're going to discuss about the progression of HR technology, and I am thankful for HR Calabarzon for inviting me again dito sa inyong free webinar. So, tayo muna ay magkukonting lozenge dahil yung lalamunan na hindi na kinakaya. Bago ang lahat, I would like everyone to look at your screen right now. And then let me know what can you observe from yung ating slide na nandito. So you can make use of our group chat to let me know kung ano ba yung nakikita nyo right now dito po sa ating slide. Meron ba kayong napapansin? Diyan, lagay nyo lang po yan sa atin pong group chat para mag-gets po natin. Apologies if you see me looking behind me kasi I am using yung atin pong I'm using the monitor here sa school para makita ko po dahil wala po akong dala-dalang wala akong dalang external na monitor. So tingnan po natin ano po yung mga na-observe ninyo. Let me know as well kung nakikita nyo pong maigi yung atin pong Okay. No computers, tama. So tama po yung sinabi ni Miss Maria Sumacha. There are no computers. You won't see any computer here. The only thing that you can see are actually phones. You can see manual typewriters. I don't think this is an electric typewriter. And you have desk after desk na wala talagang mga computers kayo nakikita. Papers lang, etc., etc. This is what the world was like before we had a lot of all of this technology. Now, punta tayo few years forward, and you would see when you go online, some of the things that you would notice would be articles about how HR is addressing work challenges with the use of technology. Ano ba yung mga emerging HR tech trends? How technology is, making things easier for us in HR. And how it's actually disrupting how we do people management, human capital management. Now, etong mga to, although there has been with most of the people or most HR right now are familiar with technology, this is not something that happened overnight, and this is not something na nakapag-adapt tayo ng mabilis. But etong pagkakaroon ng technology within the workplace, it took us a lot of time. And when we say, at least moving forward from this point on, papunta do sa final slide for this afternoon, when I say HR technology, this is a blanket term. And this could include a number of things, not just in software, but in hardware development as well. And this would also include yung gasgas na nating topic sa HR, which is AI. All of this changes in how we do things and what we use in order to do our work. Ang aim lang lahat nito is to facilitate HR management. Now, in the past, whenever we say HR and technology, usually these are two things na hindi natin nako-combine agad, or it's hard for us to really see HR and technology going hand in hand. Especially here in the Philippines na hindi pa naman ganun kaganda ang ating internet connection, and sometimes technology itself would require huge budget. It's hard for us to see a world or a workplace na talagang very high-tech. Okay? So, it's that kind of perspective is to a certain extent rightly so. Okay? So when I say that technology and HR is not something that happened overnight, way back pa, wala pang siguro mga 1970s, wala talaga tayong masyadong technology na ginagamit. And it's not just here in the Philippines, but in all parts of the world. The picture that you're seeing right now, this is actually how the workplace looked like in 1970s. So from its inception until 1970s, HR is primarily paper-based. Now here in the Philippines, even up to today, most of companies here are still paper-based. So wala pang mga ERP systems, wala pa tayong mga employee databases na naka-online. Usually, we'll just have rows and rows of lateral files or cabinets where we have all of these folders containing information about the employees within the organization. There's no way for us to automatically share information. And if we need to, for example, send a document from one department to another, we have to make use of envelopes, folders, etc. Para do sa mga bata natin na audience, most likely hindi nyo na inabutan ito. But there was actually a time where when you have to send a document to a different department, you have to put it in an envelope that has a transmittal letter, or the envelope itself has a printed on na transmittal record where the sender would have to put their the name of the recipient, and then they have to sign it, and then the recipient, once na nasa kanila na, they also have to sign and indicate that they have received the document. And there will be multiple lines printed on that envelope para pwede siyang i-reuse. So that was what's being done before. And in some cases, let's say you have to bring the document to a different office, and they are located in a different building, it takes time kasi kung sino man yung mga liaison staff or liaison officers, maybe sila, kumbaga meron na silang schedule ng kung kailan nila i-collect and kailan nila i-deliver. So in most cases, may mga delays, and in some situations, yung mga documents could easily get lost, or it could be delivered to a different person. So there's always that risk na yung mga information is not secure kasi baka sa iba mapadala, or along the way mawala siya, or for some reason pwedeng mabasa, masira. So ang dami ng mga ganong mga challenges before. So back in those days, ang mga departments lang na pwede nating sabihin na may technology would usually those who are in operations or in accounting. But si HR, wala talaga. Mano-mano tayo, papel lang. And do sa mga kapanahunan ko dyan, you would remember that there was a time na pag kayo ay magpa-file ng R1A kay SSS, handwritten yun. So you have a printed out R1A and you have to write down each name of the employee before submitting it to SSS. So malas mo pag, for example, in one batch, say you have about mga 50 employees, isa-isa mong isusulat yun. So it was very challenging. But this was in the 1970s. When the 1980s came, ayan, nagkaroon na ng mga changes. Okay, so 1970s, ganyan na itsura niya, up to 1970s. In between, meron tayo nung 1959, so di ba sabi natin kanina, ang usually na nabibigyan ng technology was operations and accounting. Si HR hindi masyado. 1959, this was the first time that a computer was actually offered to the market. And this was in 1959. So the IBM 1401, which you can see in your slides right now, on the screen right now, this is IBM 1401. And you can see just how bulky the computers were back then. So talagang isang buong kwarto nandun yung mga computers. It's not compact by today's standard, but during that time, it was already considered compact because it did not make use of large vacuum tubes which occupied space. They actually made use of transistors, which were smaller. Then when we say transistors, yung mga may background dyan sa electrical engineering, you would know that these are smaller when it comes to yun pong ating mga ginagamit dun sa kung paano itatransmit yung information. Okay? So some companies na may budget, may space sila dyan, they were able to get the IBM 1401. This was also the first computer that was used for payroll processing. Okay, HR yun, nakala ko ba huli palagi si HR. This was something that companies invested in, but with payroll being done by accounting. So kasi naiisip nila na yun pong payroll, since kailangan talaga na, lalo na pag maraming mga employees na kailangan i-process, kailangan talaga nila ng something that could help them. Wait lang, nauubo lang. Okay, cool. So IBM 1401 by 1950s, this was also the time na na-introduce din yung tinatawag na Lyons Electronic Office. So the Lyons Electronic Office looked something similar to this one. Ayan, share lang natin. Ayan. Okay? So malaki pa din siya, and mapapansin niyo that it still takes up space, but it's not as big as the IBM 1401. So mas maliit siya, and it still assists with clerical tasks, especially by payroll. So for perspective, 1967 lang nauso at na-introduce sa market ang portable calculator. So when you're doing payroll during that time, ganyan kalaking mga computers yung kailangan na meron ng isang company in order for them to process payroll and to do other clerical tasks. So ang laki noong computers, and with size also meant that malaki din ang kinakain nito sa budget. So konti lang talaga yung mga companies who made use yung mga ganitong mga technologies. Okay? But by the 1960s and 1970s, dito na nag-start na lumiit yung mga computers. And this was also when HR slowly started being introduced into the world of technology. Kasi nagkakaroon na ng requirement, more and more legal requirements para sa mga reports. Okay, so government agencies are asking for reports. Companies are starting to realize the importance of keeping tabs on people, keeping tabs on their numbers, analytics, etc., etc. You also have to keep in mind that in the 1960s and 1970s, dito na talaga nagkakaroon ng management science. So with science, of course, you need data. And for you to have data, you have to find a way to store and process large quantities of data. So it was during this time, 1960s and 1970s, when the first applicant tracking system was introduced. So 1960s and 1970s lang siya, hindi ito something na sobrang tagal na. But the applicant tracking systems that were introduced during that time were the only thing that they can do is to process or manage job applications. They cannot receive mga applications. They can only store what has been encoded by the recruiters. And kung may mga notes man, the recruiters have to manually put it there. So i-upload nila, hindi pa uso noon yung i-scan mo tapos pwede mo i-attach. Hindi. So you have to type everything manually. Okay? And because of the manual part of the ATS during that time, na-introduce sa market yung tinatawag natin na SAP R2. Okay? SAP R2, which laid the foundation for ERP or Enterprise Resource Planning. So si SAP R2, sinolve niya or tinatry niyang isolve yung problem of sharing information. Kasi during that time, yung mga systems, they do not talk to each other. But with the SAP R2, nagkaroon na ng way for systems to talk to each other. This is actually a sample of one of the first ATS or applicant tracking systems that were introduced to the market. And this was in the 1980s. This is PeopleSoft. Okay, so applicant tracking system and human resource management software siya, introduced in 1987. Si PeopleSoft ay meron pa rin siya ngayon. So testament to how good they are at keeping tabs ng kung ano ba yung kailangan ng market when it comes to systems. Pero ganito lang yung itsura niya dati. So you would notice na mano-mano talaga yung pag-i-encode. And siguro iba kong mga kasabayan dyan, you would recall, or if you've worked with a company na medyo high-tech na noon, yung interface nito was, very, very rigid, very tech-looking, hindi katulad ngayon na talagang nakabase siya doon sa user experience. So wala pang mga user experience noon. So it was also during the 1980s that the concept of central servers came into play. Nagkaroon na ng move for smaller computers, nagkaroon na ng microcomputers, laptops were being developed, nagkaroon na ng concept of local area networks or LAN para yung mga computers can talk to each other. Ngayon, during the 1980s din, na-develop yung system that allows managers to make decisions. Okay, so kumbaga, nag-guide na. Dito na nagsimula ngayon na yung mga HR systems, they can also help with performance management. And apart from performance management, by the 1990s, nauso naman yung tinatawag na LMS or Learning Management Systems. LMS are those systems na po pwedeng gamitan for training. But during those time, and remember this is the 1990s, LMS yung kanilang itsura was very chunky and clunky. And ang po pwede mo lang gawin is they would have materials, slides for example, they don't have live videos pa, that you have to go through, and then you answer quizzes, and then you get certifications. Ganun lang siya. If you would compare that with the LMS of today's world, ang laki na ng difference kasi some LMS right now, kaya na pati video, kaya na niyang mag-generate ng certificate on its own. Kumbaga, pwede na siyang on its own, i-generate niya lahat ng kakailanganin ng isang learner. That wasn't the case before. So before, it's more of the teacher or the facilitator uploading materials, except videos. Kung mag-upload man siya ng video, talagang naka, pa siya, raw format or naka MP3, MP4 format, and kailangan na i-cut siya into smaller chunks kasi pag masyadong malaki yung size, hindi kakayanin. Okay? So by 2000, early 2000, people started realizing, managers, management organizations started realizing the importance of big data analysis. So yung big data analysis, lately lang natin siya naririnig in our part of the world, but in reality, as early as 2000, nagkakaroon na ng move in other parts of the world about big data, which actually led to predictive people analytics. So, nun pa lang, yung companies, let's say in the western part of the world, they understand that they need data in order to predict future performance. So, kung dati, they just use data in order to diagnose if there's a problem, or to describe their workforce, ngayon nagkakaroon na ng prediction and projection. Okay? Kumbaga sa analytics, meron na tayong predictive at meron na ring prescriptive analytics. And then 2010 onwards, ito na yung mabilis na pagbabago. And the changes even became more apparent noong tayo ay nagka-pandemic. So prior to the pandemic, there have already been talks about AI. Pero hindi pa siya ganon kamatunog. Kasi lalo na dito sa Pilipinas, if we can do it manually, and given na hindi pa naman ganon kaganda yung ating internet connection, hindi tayo mabilis maka-adapt dun sa mga platforms na po pwede natin gamitin para i-automate yung mga processes natin. But when the pandemic happened, a lot of companies were forced to adapt to a work from home or a remote work situation. And because companies had to adapt to that, they need a platform that would help them manage yung kanilang workforce, even if the workforce is located in different parts of the world. Dito na ngayon talagang nagbago. I would say that this is really a game changer for a lot of HR processes. Kasi natuto na tayo ng mga video interviews, nagkaroon na ng mga AI, merong mga platforms that when you send in your application, it would ask you questions, and by itself, pwede na niya i-determine if you should be endorsed to the next level or hindi. So nagkaroon na ng mga ganitong changes. Pero, anong nangyari sa labor? Okay? Nakasabay ba ang workforce? Nakasabay ba si HR with all of these changes in technology? To some extent, especially here in the Philippines, it was very challenging for us. We also have to keep in mind that when the concept of work and labor started, it was always considered as a factor of production. So over time, thought leaders like Elton Mayo, Theodore Schultz, they helped shifted the perspective to a more humanistic one. And it led to yung tinatawag na natin ngayon na human relations and human capital management. What did this mean for technology? So kung mapapansin ninyo, yung technology before, prior to the pandemic, ang discussion is more of data processing, data storage, kung ano man yung repetitive na task ni HR, yun ang iti-take or yun yung po pwede nating i-automate. But right now, with labor now being seen from a humanistic perspective, ang nangyayari ngayon is the AI that we use, the technology that we use, is now focused more on employee experience rather than yung pag-automate ng mga repetitive task natin. So, kumbaga, ang nagiging move ngayon, ang push ngayon natin, is improving employee experience and using AI in new and ethical ways in order to create not just greater efficiency across different aspects of HR, whether it's in recruitment or learning or collaboration, but creating ways that would allow HR to be more strategic. Okay? So, ngayon kasi hindi na basta lang mapadali yung trabaho. It's more of paano natin papadaliin yung work or yung day-to-day activities for the employees, and how do we make sure that we are able to give them the best experience as part of our organization. So, yun na yung nagiging move ngayon. So, ano ba yung, how are we using this technology right now? Meron na ba nito sa Pilipinas? Ginagawa na ba natin ito? Unfortunately, pagdating kasi sa Pilipinas, medyo behind pa tayo in terms of understanding human capital, as well as how we can make use of technology to make things easier for our employees and even for ourselves. It doesn't help na yung ating infrastructure is also not that prepared for technology that na talagang game-changing. But there have been instances in other parts of the world na yung technology is being used in order to provide a more positive human capital experience para sa mga employees. So one example of this would be the automated recruitment in Unilever. Now, see, Unilever, it has branches in different parts of the world, which also meant that whenever they have job openings, they would get multiple or millions of applications. At hindi lang yun, mapapansin din natin na dahil sila ay isa sa mga pinakamalalaking companies, magkakaroon din sila ng, they would have to face a lot of wastage, especially when it comes to time. So, paano ngayon nila in-address yun? How did they make sure na number one, they are able to maximize yung time ng mga recruiter and they don't have a lot of time wastage? How did they also make sure na yung kanilang turnover is, kumbaga, managed siya properly given na sobrang dami yung nag-apply? How do they keep themselves from making a wrong hire? Not to say that they don't make a wrong hire, but how do they make sure that hindi ito yung talagang business impacting? So, ang challenge na una nilang tinignan is, with thousands of applications coming in from different parts of the world, how do we streamline our recruitment process? How do we make sure na quick yung from start to finish while also preserving yung fairness and yung consistent assessment ng mga ating candidates? Naisip nila to make use of an AI. So, dito makikita nyo na in other parts of the world, they're already adapting AI. Ang problema sa atin here in the Philippines, medyo takot pa tayo kasi iniisip natin that AI might take over my job, but it's not necessarily the situation. So, ang ginawa ni Unilever is to introduce an AI-driven platform na i-screen niya entry-level hires. So, mapapansin ninyo, there was some thought process on how they chose ano ba yung gagamitan nila ng AI at kung ano yung AI na gagamitin nila. They did not 100% rely on AI. They realized though that we can use AI for those positions na hindi naman ganun ka-complicated or complex. So they started using AI for entry-level hires. The process that they had right now began with an assessment of the candidate's aptitude, yung kanyang logic abilities, yung kanyang communication skills, ability niya to collaborate. Yun yung mga areas na chine-check nung kanilang platform. AI ang ginagamit nila, not human, when it comes to reviewing yung mga interviews, when it comes to analyzing facial expressions, and when it comes to analyzing the language, the voice pattern, and how the candidate speaks, how they create their sentences in order to detect if ito ba ay ganito ba siya talaga, or is this something that applicant or the candidate has have practiced for. Yeah. So, online assessment, tapos yung kanilang online assessment included video interviews, simulation games or simulated games para i-determine kung meron ba talagang, kung qualified ba talaga or fit ba talaga si applicant for the position. So, ang nangyari dito, when they started using AI for their recruitment process nila, na-reduce nila from 4 months to just a few weeks. Yung turnaround period from the time that an application comes into their system up to the time that they are able to make a decision. So from 4 months to just a few weeks, malaking bawas kagad yun, which also meant that in terms of time wasted by the recruiters, mas kumonti na siya ngayon. Apart from that, because you now have an AI that does not look at or is not easily impacted by biases, mas naging diverse ngayon yung kanilang selection of candidates. So natanggal din nila, hindi man 100% natanggal, pero at least nabawasan nila yung human bias ngayon. So mas naging diverse, mas nakapag-focus sila ngayon on the match between ano ba yung nire-require ng job description at ano ba yung binibring noong candidate to the table. Another good case study for this is the employee engagement in IBM. So although when it comes to technology, ang unang talagang kumbaga ang unang naka-experience ng technology apart from payroll would be recruitment. Pwede rin actually gamitin si AI, si technology in terms of employee engagement. And when we say in terms of employee engagement, hindi lang ito yung tipo na pang survey lang. So in the case of IBM, ang nagiging nagiging challenge para sa kanila in the past was yung kanilang turnover. And they realized that the top management actually does not have a good understanding on how to make things better for their employees. And they don't have an understanding ng kung ano ba yung mga concerns ng mga employee nila, yung mga challenges ng mga employees nila, or yung overall sentiment ng mga employees about the organization. So ito, magandang case study to because here, IBM did not, similar dun sa ating example kanina, IBM also did not rely 100% on technology. Ang ginawa niya is, they studied first, ano ba yung mga factors that can have an impact on employee experience? And they realized that there are 3 spheres when it comes to employee experience. You have the social sphere, you have the physical sphere, and you have the work sphere, or yung sense of belongingness, yung iyong pinagtatrabahuhan, okay? At yung actual na workspace mo. So yung interaction mo with other employees, yung acceptance na nararamdaman mo, at yung mismo physical na workspace ninyo. So it's a combination of those 3 that led to kung ano ba yung culture within the organization. So ano ang naging move ni IBM dito? With IBM, they did not buy any platform. They built their own platform. They built an AI tool which they called IBM Watson, and it analyzed employee sentiments. So si IBM Watson, ang ginagawa niya is binabasa niya lahat ng survey responses, feedback forms, and even Slack conversations. Okay? Now don't worry, there was a privacy policy in place. So hindi naman sinakripisyo ni IBM yung privacy policy. So ginamit ni IBM Watson lahat yon in order to gauge the mood of the workforce. If you would remember, or if you've done employee engagement before, usually, pag tayo ay nag-create ng programs, initiatives, projects, we look at yung mga surveys, and then doon tayo kumukuha ng idea ng kung anong gagawin nating project. But the problem with that, yung criticism sa mga ganong ways of doing things is that people will give you the answer that they think you want to hear. Which means yung data mo is skewed, and if you create projects, it might not be the right project after all. But with IBM Watson, because it also looked at Slack conversations, it had a better idea of what the employees actually felt about the organization and what projects they are really looking forward to. And IBM Watson used that in order to provide recommendations to top management. So naging outcome nitong project na to, HR could now detect ano ba yung mga potential issues even before they are escalated, ano yung mga departments that medyo nagiging problema na nila yung work-life balance, and nakikita kagad ni HR kung meron bang mga managers, for example, who might need help and might need training in order to become better in managing yung kanilang mga team members, better in communication, better in providing feedback, or better at doing hard conversations. So bago pa siya naging problema, nakita na siya ni IBM Watson, and HR was able to take the necessary steps para ma-address kagad yung situation. Another example would be the performance analytics in ADP. Now, again, these are all global practices. This is not something that's happening only here in the Philippines because unfortunately, here in the Philippines, meron pa talagang fear when it comes to adapting AI or yung talagang mga high-end technology na. So with ADP naman, ang challenge dito, kailangan nila na mag-provide ng deeper or mas comprehensive na insights to concerning employee performance for their clients. So marami tayong mga tools right now, and sabi ni ADP, parang kulang, parang hindi talaga siya nakakapagbigay ng value to our customers. So anong ginawa nila? They created their own AI-powered analytics tool that could evaluate employee performance against up to 5 million other profiles in real time. So imaginein mo yun, di ba? Not just within the organization, but even outside of the organization. Kinuha lahat ni ADP yung information na yon, which they collected from some of their clients, and then compared performance management results in order to determine eto ba ang dapat nating i-expect na behavior for this particular position. So from there, they were able to check if etong behavior na to matches kung ano yung requirement for the position, ano ba yung job responsibilities. Yung geographical location ba ni employee, does it have an impact on how they behave? And if it has an impact, do people from that same geographical location behave the same way if they are in the same situation and same position? So imagine ninyo you have a lot of factors and they are being consolidated by the AI tool of ADP, and then you can compare yung performance management results ng iyong isang empleyado against all of this collective or collected data. So anong nangyari ngayon, companies who were able to use the ADP platform, they have a clearer picture kung nasaan ba yung performance ng kanilang employee. Underperforming ba siya? Overperforming ba siya? And if they are under and over, what do we do about this? So the granular insight provide invaluable information to HR when it comes to providing tailored training programs. It also helped with setting compensation levels based on complexity of the position. And it was also a huge help when it comes to planning career growth and career growth paths for the different employees. So ang laki nung naging naging impact niya kagad. Okay? Now, why do we have to talk about this? And I was only given a very short time, so pagpasensyahan ako medyo mabilis. One of the things that Ned's mentioned to me when we were talking about this topic was that we have talked about AI, I think twice na, and from the time that the pandemic started up to the present, there have been numerous, and when I say numerous, parang hindi ko na mabilang, numerous webinars when it comes to AI. Pero kasi, even if we've had hundreds of webinars about AI, there's still the pervading fear when it comes to the use of AI and technology. So what do we get from what we have discussed today? Number one, whether we like it or not, and you've seen this, we started with the 1950s with the IBM 1401 na sobrang lalaki ng computers. Technology will progress. Whether we like it or not, technology will have its own path. It will progress whether we adapt it or not. And if we don't adapt, mas talo tayo. Bakit? The HR becomes burnt out because over time, the need for information, the need for more complicated reporting, mas naha-highlight siya. And without any help, mas napupwersa ngayon tayo to keep up using tools that are no longer working for us. So imaginein mo if you're an HR of about 1,000 employees, lagyan natin sa 1,000 employees, and you have to determine kung sino ba yung pupwede sa succession planning, sino yung pupwedeng isunod, sino yung pupwedeng i-groom for a particular key job, and you have 1,000 employees. Okay? If you make use of just an Excel file or a Google Sheet, it might work, but it will take time. Compared to if you have a platform that can actually help you compare the performance of one employee versus the 999 employees. Okay? Or let's say you have about 10,000 employees globally and you have a key job that you need to fill really quickly. So paghahanapin mo sino na ba yung susunod in line na ginugroom natin, it's easier for you to figure out kung nasa na sila in their career path if you have an AI or a technology that can help you with this. So technology will progress from the malaking computers to microcomputers to, mobile devices. It will progress. Okay, now whether you adapt to it or not, that's a different story. But if you don't adapt, it's always you who would be on the losing end. Okay, so we should not fear technology. A lot of people say that kasi AI will replace me, which brings me to my second point. Okay, AI and technology will not replace us. Okay, kahit pa anong tumbling ang gawin ni AI, people cannot be replaced by technology. HR people cannot be replaced by technology. Bakit? AI and technology, we still have not developed an AI that has sentience or consciousness. Yung sinasabi natin consciousness. AI has been around for quite some time. Okay? Kasi ang thought natin palagi, pag AI, ay eto yung kayang bagayahin yung boses ko. Or eto yung pag sinabi ko lang sa kanya na create me a picture of this, of let's say, of my boyfriend standing next to Kim Kardashian, generate na niya kagad yun. That's AI for now, but even before, we actually have AI. AI is artificial intelligence. The first time that we had an AI was when a computer system was developed to play a chess game. Okay? If my memory serves me right, this was with Kasparov or Karpov. Isa dun yung kalaban. And this was way back in the 1980s. So even before may AI na tayo, to some degree, Google makes use of AI. When you ask Google, how do you cook adobo or how do you cook sinigang? Okay, the system of Google will go through its library and look for the right article or the right link to provide to you. Okay? To some degree, that's also AI, artificial intelligence. Ang problema kasi, limited tayo dun sa, papalitan ako nito. Kasi si AI, kaya niyang gawin ito without having to do much. Kasi pag si ChatGPT, sabihin ko lang kay ChatGPT, create a job description for me, goods to go na. Hindi tayo mapapalitan ng dahil lang doon. Kasi kung natatakot kayo dahil kaya na yun gawin ni AI, that means stuck tayo and we are actually not moving to a strategic HR position, and we are sort of imprisoning ourselves and trapping ourselves in being just an administrative position. So AI and technology will not replace us. But one thing's for sure, it will push us to develop more competencies. For example, dati, hindi natin alam kung ano yung prompt engineering. Right now, prompt engineering, there are companies that are looking for people who are they are able to, sandali, parang may nagsabi sa akin na hindi nakikitang maigi yung slides. Iayusin lang muna natin. Kung kailan patapos na yun, tsaka pa natin naayusin yung slide. Pero sige, ayusin pa rin natin. Dahil ngayon ko lang nakita na may sinasabi pala si Neds na hindi nakaayos yung yung slides. Wait lang. Technology, Murphy's Law, if something will go wrong, it will definitely go wrong. Ayan. Sige, ayusin lang po natin. So tulad nga sabi ko, it will help us develop better competencies So, yung prompt engineering dati wala yan. Ngayon, isa na yan sa mga requirements. A few decades ago, hindi alam ng mga recruiters kung ano yung recruitment marketing. But early parts of 2015 up to 2019, isa na yan sa mga requirements. Dapat marunong ka ng recruitment marketing. A few decades ago, whenever you have to place a call sa mga probinsya, you have to go through 108 or international 109. But right now, wala na tayo, direct dialing na tayo. So, yung mga telephone operators noon, they were actually replaced by IVR. And they moved on to different positions. They became receptionists, they became secretaries, executive assistants, and stuff like that. So, si technology magpo-proceed yan, and it will lead to more or different jobs. Dati walang mga PABX technicians. Ngayon, di ba, ang dami na yan. Alam na natin yung mga gumagawa ng IVR, people who make platforms for that. Mga bagong positions yan. And right now, we have prompt engineers na ang kanilang job description is to create prompts for all of this AI and to train AI so that when you ask it something, it's able to provide you with information na mas focus talaga sa kung anong kailangan mo. And then, of course, number 3, AI and technology are just tools for us. Okay? So, hindi tayo dapat natatakot because they're not meant to replace us, but they're meant to make things easier for us. Imagine, in one training that I have attended last year. So, in the past, pag gagawa ka, for example, ng isang competency library, you have to go through ano ba yung job description, ano ba yung mga duties and responsibilities, and from there, you start writing down ano yung competency, ano yung behavioral indicators, ano yung mga levels niya, ano yung, what does it mean when you're an expert, a beginner, let's say, a specialist. So may mga ganun, isa-isa mong isusulat yon. But in one training that I have attended, it only took us about 10 seconds. Imagine niyo 10 seconds to write the whole competency dictionary or library for a particular position. 10 seconds. And all we had to do was go to ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, please write a competency dictionary or competency library or competency definition for this position. I want you to include 3 levels of progression from expert, from beginner to expert. I want you to put it in a table format, and I want you to indicate behavioral indicators for each of the levels. And after 10 seconds, it was able to create a table that has the definition, the behavioral indicators, and even yung definition ng iba't ibang progression. 10 seconds. So bakit tayo takot gumamit ng AI? When it is actually something, it is a tool that can help us move to other aspects of our job para yung mga repetitive tasks at yung mga hindi naman kailangan ng more understanding of what employees are going through, i-relegate na natin doon para tayo mas nakakapag-interact tayo with the employees themselves. Okay? So with that, ayan, sakto ko Neds, 3:08. Thank you, everyone. It's a very short, very quick discussion ng kung paano ba nag-progress si HR, si technology. Ayan. At ano ba yung mga case studies na meron tayo at dapat ba tayong matakot with AI? Alam ko gasgas na lagi natin sinasabi na huwag kayo natatakot sa AI. But I just want to show everyone na may mga companies talaga na gumagamit na ng AI right now. And more often than not, kung gumagamit kayo ng applicant tracking systems or HR systems like Bamboo HR, Lever, mapapansin nyo na isa sa mga selling point nila palagi, sinasabi na sa inyo na they have AI technology which can help you create job descriptions, create interview questions, screen applicants para hindi kakain na ng oras ninyo. Okay, and with that, I'm giving the floor back to our HR Calabarzon team. Neds? Naka-mute ka.
Yun. Actually, ma'am, yun nga, ma'am, medyo na-late nyo na nabasa yung message. Medyo na pixelated kasi yung...
Oo nga, sorry. Bibigay ko na lang yung copy ng slides para sa mga interested na makakuha.
Yan! Narinig nyo mga ka-HR. Ma'am Rona will share the deck this afternoon para sa mga hindi masyadong napansin. And we will post it in HR Calabarzon para po lahat makakuha. Yan.
Yes.
Dahil in-announce na po ni ma'am kaya ibibigay po natin. So, this afternoon, syempre, hindi magiging back-to-back learning to kung hindi natin makakasama ang ating panelists, si Sir Mikel and si Sir John. Tama ba, Ma'am Zarina? Where is Sir Mikel and Sir John? Where's Sir John?
Si John, madalas kong kausap sa sa LinkedIn.
Actually, may sasabihin nga po siya sa inyo mamaya. Actually, kay Sir Mikel din daw. Yan.
Sige po.
So, we have our first question, Ma'am Zarina.
The first question from our audience is, with the rapid evolution of HR tech, what are the key considerations of SMEs should keep in mind to future-proof their HR processes?
Okay. Number one, you have to be careful with security. Okay? Especially when it comes to combining technology and future-proofing HR. Isa sa mga considerations nyo will be technology. Kasi all of these tools that we have, especially if you're using open tools such as ChatGPT, it exposes yung kung ano man yung information that you have, it exposes it to the public. And si ChatGPT, binibuild din niya kasi yung database niya. So whatever you place or whatever you input kay ChatGPT, ini-store niya yan so that if somebody asks for the same information, pull out na lang niya. So number one, make sure that you understand cybersecurity. Okay? Number two, when you hire people, if we're talking about future-proofing HR in terms of technology, it has been a practice that we hire people based on what they can do now. Hindi na po pwede yun. When you hire people, you actually have to hire them for what they can do 5 years, 10 years from now. With how fast technology is changing, you need people who can easily adapt to all of these changes rather than people who can do it now, pero yung pag-adapt nila do sa mga changes, medyo mahihirapan pala sila. So you need people who are able to adapt very quickly to these changes, people who are so used to volatility, to uncertainty, regardless of the type of industry that they are in. Kasi especially after the pandemic, how we do things, how we do business, how we take care of people, sobrang ang bilis na ng mga pagbabago. So siguro yung dalawang yun ang masasabi ko dun sa ating pong nagtanong sa audience.
How about Sir Mikel?
Yes, hello. Super agree with what Rona has said. Very important talaga is cybersecurity and understanding data protection and privacy. Although I would just like to add the importance of educating our employees as well on these technologies whenever we introduce something in the workplace. Dahil our workplace it's a combination of different cultures, different background, and different generations. And for some millennials or Gen Z, it will be easier for them to adapt. Parang they're born into technology. Pero if we have boomers, lalo na some are leaders actually, who doesn't understand technology, will find it hard to comprehend data protection and privacy and cybersecurity. Medyo na-force lang to understand Zoom because of the pandemic and all that. Siguro yun lang siguro yung very important then, that we also educate everyone. Educate the boomers, yung mga older workforce, on why is it important, what will be the repercussions, as well as siguro re-educate yung ating mga millennials and Gen Z of the potential risks. Kasi baka maybe because they're born into it, tingin nila normal lang, na it's normal for me to share my information online, to share what I'm doing 100% of the time. Pero it's also important that we let them know kung ano yung possible repercussions, not only to them, but also to the organization, that may or may not cost them their job. So yun lang siguro yung gusto kong i-add in future-proofing HR. Apart from people understanding cybersecurity and data privacy, siguro first step is also educating everyone in the process and how it can impact the whole ecosystem.
Medyo tama yun, sir. Medyo isa sa ako nasasaktan sa boomer. Kaya isa ako dyan.
Hindi ka naman boomer.
Hindi naman. Millennial pa ba ako? Ay, hindi ko alam. Joke lang. Nagpipilingera lang po.
Millennial tayo
yun. Totoo po yun. Talagang napakahirap na kahit tayong mga HR, given our people, is talagang nahihirapan tayo na ituro sa kanila yung pagbabago. How about Sir Jan? Knowing na syempre si Sir Jan isa to sa mga bumubuo o gumagawa ng mga makabagong technology for HR.
Yun. Thank you so much. Sorry, medyo, I'm not sure if you guys can hear me well or okay naman yung video. Sorry
Okay
kasi
naman.
I'm right now in a conference dito sa Mumbai. I'm actually in Mumbai, India right now. So, but I was really thankful na I have joined the community. Thank you, Ms. Nedi, for that. Very well thought points coming from Ms. Rona and Sir Mikel, about future-proofing the business itself. Sorry, Tagalog na pala, no? So definitely, so in my experience, those points are very crucial. Infrastructure, security, sobrang importante po, no? Especially for dealing about data points or very important information of employees, right? That shouldn't be, it should be taken care of security wise, Now, just to add, of course, I think some of the people that are here also, kasi then they know me, so as I am sort of like I'm an enthusiast of HR technology, right? So I've come to some of the people here, I think, are some of my clients in the past. Then, so I just wanted to add, siguro, when it comes to future-proofing your business, especially for adoption of technology, it's also important to understand the aspirations of the company, right? So right now, when I talk to my clients, regardless of their startup companies from Australia or in the Philippines, putting up business all the way to larger companies, manufacturing businesses, what we try to understand, or for me, is ano po ba yung mga aspirations nila? Right? What do they want to achieve? Because technology would just be there. It's just a tool. May it be an RPA, may it be an AI, may it be robotics, interview. Those things, it's already handy. We have generative AI since before it was launched. But what's important is how would that align to the business goal of the company? Okay, so when I talk to my clients today, ngayon po, as I outline those problem statements that they have, or succession metrics, it could be streamlining the process of HR operations or finance operations. It could be about performance management, time and attendance. Mostly sa Philippines, when speaking to a lot of clients in the Philippines, they are mostly geared toward doing away administrative tasks, sabi rin ni Ms. Rona earlier, because we're focused so much on those non-value add, as we call it, sa mga wastage, as we call it, that consumes a lot of hours. Hours is converted to money in essence, no? So those nakapokus pa tayo ngayon, right? But what we envision as as a provider of technology, right? So complete employee life cycle solutions, HCM, if you would prefer to call it. So we try to understand how this technology could be deployed. How could this be used, right? Because we could give you as many 20 module solutions coming from manpower planning, applicant tracking system, recruitment, all the way to offboarding solutions. We have that. We have robotic interviews. You can have that as much as you want. But the problem, if it's not aligned with the vision mission of the organization, it wouldn't work. Right now, in my experience, we don't pitch for automation just for the sake of automation. So we talk to the client, we talk to the CEO, we try to understand what's their vision of their business, if it's scaling up their business or financially saving more money or cost. We try to understand if operational expenses po ba mas bababa if you would to deploy this kind of technology, payroll, performance management, because those performance tracking performance is not really a value add. What's value add is keeping the metrics at high, right? payroll is not also a value add, but it's just essential, right? What's value add is that people are getting paid on time, right? So yun yung mga value add. So right now, we try to understand what the problem statement are, and then we align it with the solutions that we have at hand. So that's just my 2 cents po. Sorry, sorry, long answer na for that. Sorry,
Okay lang,
thank you
Sir
so much,
Glenn.
Miss Ned. So that's from additional for the future-proofing your business. Yeah.
Magda-dovetail lang ako sa sinabi ni John kasi napaka-importante nung sinabi niya. I agree. Minsan kasi whenever companies are looking for automation platforms in whatever form, technology in whatever form, usually iniisip lang natin is number one, budget. Number two, nag-work kasi kay company A eh. So adapt natin, ganun. Yung walang masyadong pagdi-deep dive na sandali, what is it that I want to accomplish? And this is not something that's limited to technology alone. Even in whenever we start initiatives, projects in HR, nandun tayo palagi sa ano ba yung ginagawa ng iba, ano ba yung latest trend, and then you try to adapt it to your organization. But in reality, there has to be some deeper understanding. Ano ba yung value add? Ano ba yung kailangan namin? And how do I make sure that there's a value add? Kasi there's no value add and wala lang, gusto ko lang kasi na gamitin dahil si company A ginagamit, or looks like it's something that would help me with my work pero wala talagang in-depth na understanding ng kung anong gagawin ng tool na yun. It just becomes an additional burden to the organization. Gastos lang siya without really a significant return on investment. Minsan, yun yung importante. Yun.
Maidagdag ko lang, ma'am. Maidagdag ko lang na as additional question. Kasi nabanggit kanina, di ba, ma'am, more on traditional HR. Nabanggit nyo rin mula umpisa na papel lang, ballpen, telepono lang, may typewriter pa akong nabasa. Which is legit naman. Kasi me personally, medyo maaga rin po akong nagtrabaho.
Diba? Ano ba yun? Sulat-sulat kamay pang R1A.
Opo. Hindi pa ako HR nun, ma'am eh. Ano po ba yung mga fundamental advancements na pwede nating, ano po yung may sasuggest nyo, mga panelists and speaker this afternoon, mga fundamental advancements na pwede nating ituro hindi lang sa mga traditional HR. Let's accept it. Hindi lang naman HR ang traditional eh. Even the sales, the operation, lahat ng department, the accounting, may mga traditional pa yon. So ano po ba yung pwede nyong may advice o maibigay na things to consider sa mga fundamental advancement para ma-ensure natin na maging successful yung integration from traditional to AI, to adaptability, the application sa work environment, considering yung mga sinabi nyo na turuan, ano yung ating mga employees at saka yung mga iba pang kailangan. Meron po ba kayong mga pwedeng i-advise sa aming mga HR para magawa itong mga fundamentals lang na pwede naming mai-impart sa aming mga employees para maging successful yung integration from manual to AI?
Actually, if you're going to ask me, yung sinabi ni Mikel kanina, yun yung pinaka-core eh. You have to make sure, at saka yung sinabi rin ni John, yung dalawang yun, those are your core things that need to be in place. Number one, you have to understand what you're using the AI for. And not just understand what you're using it for, but understand as well the workforce that you have. Kasi tulad ng sinabi ni Mikel kanina, if, for example, you have boomers, you have people who are tech-averse, they're not very good with technology, mahirap ipuwersa na hindi, kailangan natin i-adapt ito. So ano yung magiging work around natin for that? If you have top management wala masyadong problema kasi usually yan, it's more of, analytical thinking sila, and the reports generation falls on the lap of their subordinates. The subordinates themselves, kailangan naiintindihan nila ano ba yung advantage noong technology na yon for them. Okay, that's first. Ano yung work that they are doing, and proper identification din ng ano ba yung ginagawa nilang trabaho. Ano yung ginagawa nilang trabaho? Alin doon yung nagba-bottleneck? Di ba sabi nga natin, no need to reinvent the wheel. It's working. The wheel is working. So no need to reinvent that. So if you already have a process in place, what's the problem with that process? Saan tayo may bottlenecks? Saan tayo nagkakaproblema? And then from there, ask yourself, is this a people problem? Is this a process problem? Is this an automation problem? It's an automation problem, then what automation can we have in place? And that process is also something that the employees need to understand. And involve them as well in the discussion. Kasi since they are the ones who would be using the technology, pag inalis mo sila sa discussion na panay top management lang ang nag-usap-usap, walang mangyayari. You're going to adopt something, tapos employees are now forced to adapt to that technology. Di ba nga sabi nga ni Mikel, di ba? Hindi naman lahat yan makaka-adapt kagad sa technology. So how do we make it easier? Involve them in the discussion so that they themselves understand paano kayo nakaabot dun sa decision na yun, and they themselves have a voice on what technology to adapt. So for me, siguro yun yung masasabi ko na fundamental when it comes to pivoting from manual into technology-driven na mga processes.
How about you, Sir John?
I agree 100%. I agree with Ms. Rona. So definitely you have to identify first the outcomes, or so the things that you wanted to achieve first. Outline the problem statements na meron po tayo. And then let's say you want to automate the process, right? So which part of the process that you wanted to automate? Could be recruitment, could be payroll, could be time and attendance and such. And then you integrate what best solutions you have in place, right? Could be any of that, right? But the most important is what is the aspirations that you have in an organization. Fundamentally, you write that. I agree with Ms. Rona. No, so mostly you come up with we call it functional collaboration, which means the entire organization itself. Meron po tayong mga champion dyan. We have the finance, CFO siguro, finance department, CHRO or HR director, right? You have your IT people. Each and every one of those stakeholders has their own parang valuable thing within their department. And each and every one of them, what I learned through the years is that may mga perspective, and also there's a lot of information that you could gather from this different personas, mga IT people or HR. When it combined together, that's how powerful it is. Now you could come up with a blueprint of how you want to achieve the goal. The tool again is there, it could be deployed, but what's important is what's the value it would bring to the committee or to the people. So how you wanted to achieve it per milestone. So you write it together. Yun. So sorry, sobrang haba ng ads ko, but yeah, I agree with Ms. Rona on what she said. Yeah.
Ako just a few things lang. Um, will be it's really hard to pinpoint what will be essential and fundamental that will work sa iyo and will work sa kanya, or applicable sa lahat. Kasi it varies in a lot of factors. It varies on the company size, on your industry. Sabi nga ni John, on the aspirations of the company, the timelines, prioritization. Pwede kasing for some company, they wanted to, kumbaga, future-proof nga in the soonest time possible. Pero sa iba, it's not their priority muna. Parang if we can take small baby steps lang muna, okay lang. Parang okay lang na manual muna, paper, and then later on maybe Excel, and then later on maybe a system. May mga iba naman na, okay, there's a new directive from the leadership. Dapat next year, fully automated. Lahat ng systems, accounting, sales, HR, lahat-lahat nag-uusap-usap para mas madali. So, sabi nga din kanina ni Rona, what works kay company A may not work kay company B. Kahit sabihin mong pareho kayo ng industry, kung nag-work to sa friend ko sa ganitong kumpanya, mag-work din to sa amin, hindi siya. So it's important that we attend learning sessions like this. No, ang dami niyan. It's in the 100 plus 104th. Attend learning sessions. Try to capture as much as you can, and go back dun sa mga questions na sinabi ni Ron nga kanina, and iisa-isahin mo sa sarili mo, and collaborate within your management, with other department heads. What will work? What's the timeline? What's the extent? Kailangan ba to ngayon? Pwede bang ito muna? Kailangan ba lahat ng to? Ano yung long-term impact, short-term impact? So yun lang, the future of HR is really tricky. Ang hirap magsabi kung what's fundamentally important. Pero yun nga, yun yung mga crucial is it starts with understanding what the goals are, educating people, and then understanding, weighing the benefits and risks later on. And if you need help, there are so many mentors, so many coaches, so many programs that you can jump into to ask, so they can help you assess your current HR state, current organization state, kung ano ba yung possible na mag-work. Kasi in this example, in this current space that we have now, we're coming from different backgrounds. So pwedeng mag-work to kay Rona, pero hindi siya mag-work kay John. Pwedeng mag-work sa akin, hindi mag-work sa'yo. Pwede namang sa akin, hindi siya mag-work. Pero sa inyo pala mag-work. So we need individual approach kasi yan. That's how it is. Everything's unique in each way. So ayun lang. Feel free to reach out, Rona, John. Feel free to reach out to me, HR Calabarzon, and we will be more than happy to assist you come up with a better plan and structure into transitioning and making sure na we're ready for the future.
Yan. And agree talaga ako doon, Sir Mikel, with what you said. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution because every case is different. And sustainable talaga ang unti-untiin mo lang. Baby steps, especially
Yes.
for people in the HR Calabarzon community or Calabarzon area. Usually, we are not as techy as people in NCR. So that's a very important thing to consider. So another question from our audience is, so actually this one is regarding the fear that Ma'am Rona mentioned earlier. What uh, how should businesses approach the delicate balance between using AI for efficiency and maintaining the human touch in employee relations?
Napakagandang question yan. Okay. When it comes to AI, okay, there's I would say a wrong connotation na AI can provide you with all of the answers that you need whenever you ask it something. AI pulls information based on what was inputted to it. Garbage in, garbage out. Even before pa nagkaroon ng konsepto ng AI, yan naman talaga nagpapatakbo sa mga computers. Garbage in, garbage out. So whatever you feed AI, it's also the same thing that it would spew out whenever you ask for an information. So in terms of using it to make your work efficient, it will only make it efficient to a certain degree. And I think it's something that if you're going to adapt AI within your organization, it's something that your employees and you yourselves would have to really, always emphasize to them that this is a tool that will help you, but this is not the end all be all for the work that you need to do. The example that I mentioned earlier about the job description, about the competency dictionary na generate siya within 10 seconds. It was able to generate something, but I would not 100% say that I can take it as is and use that kagad. Okay, there will still be some tweaks because it's only pulling data from whatever is available in Google. Doon din siya kumukuha ng data niya and kino-consolidate lang niya lahat yun. So kung kumbaga ko yung pagko-consolidate niya or yung nakuha niyang data is kulang din yung ibabato mo. And you would also see na pag nagpa-generate kayo kay ChatGPT, for example, usually yung sagot niya is very vague, okay, and very generic. Okay? Or, if you ask for references, minsan yung mga links niya are actually directing you to a different website. So that's one of the risks of using AI such as, generative AI such as ChatGPT. Yun yung mga risk doon. So, hindi mo siya po pwedeng gamitin as is to improve efficiency and to help you with human relations. Like what I've mentioned also, wala pa tayong sentient or conscious AI. And in order to build human relations, there has to be some consciousness of the emotions, consciousness of the impact of the behavior, consciousness on impact of what we say. This is not something that AI can generate or AI can help us with. AI can let you know what steps to take, but at the end of the day, kahit pasundin mo yun, pero pagalit naman yung kung paano ka makipag-usap, still will not help in your case. So to some extent, it's a tool. To some extent, it will help you, but it's not something that you should take as is and use in order to build human relations. Mikael, your thoughts?
Nakamute ka, Sir Mikel.
Sorry, umubo kasi ako. Super agree with what Rona said, no. At this point, hindi pa ready ang AI. It's a great tool, definitely. Ako ang sinasabi ko din whenever I do speaking engagements is at least, no, as of the time being, it will not replace our jobs, but it will potentially replace our jobs in the future if we don't know how to use it, and hindi tayo abreast sa mga developments ng AI. And it can start with a few things, like instead of you, sabi nga ni Rona, no, coming up with a dictionary, and it will take you a month to come up with that, whereas AI can come up in 10 seconds. Then as say a business owner, dun ka sa mas efficient. Of course, hindi lang naman 10 seconds yun. 10 seconds yung pagka-come up ng dictionary, and then you, as a person, as human, will validate yung entries na ginawa out of that 10 seconds. That versus the other person na hindi integrate yung AI sa buong process, and will take months, maybe years to come up with one dictionary. So more of it's a discussion on effectiveness and efficiency. It's important that we start integrating it kasi kahit si AI and automation ngayon is still in its early stages, no, baby steps pa lang siya in the general market. Pero ang bilis mag-grow niyan, no? Before pandemic, wala to. There are AIs, no, yung talagang computer yung kalaban mo sa game, chess, kagaya nga ng sinabi ni Rona kanina. Meron ng mga ganon, pero how it changed in the last couple of years, no, especially after pandemic, napaka dynamic, ang bilis. 1 year, 2 years, what 2 years can do to AI. So imagine what it can do to AI in 3-5 years time. So sobrang bilis niya magde-develop, and if we don't start integrating it with our day-to-day activities and we don't understand its capabilities sa ngayon pa lang, it may be a challenge for us to understand it in the future. Kasi kumbaga baka in the future calculus na siya, tayo nasa algebra pa lang or baka multiplication pa lang. So ngayon, habang multiplication pa lang siya, aralin na natin para alam na natin kung ano yung fundamentals ngayon, so that in the future we'll be more ready. And baka at that time, kasi it can change our jobs talaga. It can replace us. So at least we will be at the forefront na okay, we're better. Pero kahit ako, agree ako, in terms of the relationship part, super long way yan. Super long way. You can't, it's just hard. It's just human, and human resources, it's just so complex na ang hirap niyang gawan ng algorithm, or ang hirap niyang ituro sa AI. No? You can have a robot do an admin hearing, but there's just so much na hindi maka-capture nung AI. Or you can have a robot do a focus group discussion, an FGD, an open forum. Pero surface level lang yon. Hindi mo masasabi sa kanya kung ano yung individual backgrounds, individual emotions ng mga tao, pinagdadaanan ng kada isa na umabot sa ganong sitwasyon. At least ngayon, no, as we're speaking today in early 2024, ganun ang setup. Who knows in the future, in a couple of years, pero at this point hindi pa siya. So let's start making sure that we're taking over ngayon pa lang, and alam na natin yung how it can integrate, and ano yung limitations niya, para in the future kapag advanced na siya, advanced na rin tayo. No, hindi yung kumbaga in the future naka VR glasses na sila, tayo nagta-typewriter pa rin. So yun lang naman yung thoughts ko. John?
Yeah, definitely very good point from Miss Rona and Sir Mikel. No? So just for me, I just have a question, guys, because I wanted to understand if you really embrace AI as of today. Raise of hands for those 30 people here who are using ChatGPT. Yung be honest with yourself. Are you using any of that? Kasi kahit raise, yeah, see, I have 3, 4, 5. It would come, keep on coming, right? But the thing is, we already had it. It lives within us. Matagal na po si generative AI. 2018, they press release it. But when we look at it, parang ang daming bago generative AI. Matter of fact, it's been there, right? So it's just repackaged into something, right? So I want to maybe share this with you guys because I am in the technology space now, so I often meet those who would to build it. I would to go to conference, right? But if you watching Marvel right now, Marvel Iron Man, right? So you remember that Iron Man, si Tony Stark, and bought technically, right? So, but when he prompts a message, most of the time, nagkakamali pa rin, right? Si Jarvis, because there's no emotional intelligence as of yet. It cannot be built, Tony Stark. So right now, I encourage you guys. It's just been there. It's there since. It's just how you optimize the usage of machine learn or AI. It's already in the applications that we use. Yun lang. That's just for me, my tip. Salamat po. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir John. And we have another question from Ma'am Maria. Ma'am Maria?
Hi, so yes, no? So I am encouraging my team to actually use AI. Ang nakakatuwa, ako po yung millennial. Ako po yung nagtuturo sa kanila paggamit ng AI. Parang takot nga sila in a sense. Parang sabi ko, hanggat i-type mo, hindi naman sasabog, ayos lang yan. Pero the problem is, I'm also old school in the sense that I'd like them to still know how to write from scratch. Alam mo yon, na you only use it to improve it. Okay? So, eto na. Nalaman ko dahil kami ay, oh my gosh, Office 365, Enterprise, and all that, we have Copilot now. So, a lot of people were asking IT, which unfortunately, even our IT doesn't know much about Copilot. So, sabi niya, ma'am, dami nagtatanong about Copilot and all that. Nung nag-search po ako, maganda. Baka gusto nyo ituro natin. Here's my question. How, as HR also and as managers naman, na we don't want AI to be abused as well, or for them to be too dependent on it as well. Nisip ko, okay, would the policy do? Oh, come on. I mean, I'm very sure IT can't monitor whatever. But of course, I know kapag ang email, ang umpisa, I hope this email finds you well. Alam ko na kung saan galing yon. So, how do you now, ako as HR, somehow not really have a policy, but I don't know how to go about it. I'd like to encourage them, but at the same time, I don't want it to be abused. So, paano kaya? My HR team so far na monitor ko because I know how they write already. So, alam ko kapag nagpapaalam sila, ma'am, pasensya ka na, hindi ko kaya tong part na to. Can I ask if I can use AI? So, they use it, but then they tweak it in their own tone. So, that's okay. Pero yung iba talaga, nahuhuli ko na abuso talaga. So, how do we now, not really control, how do we guide, control, hindi ko lang tamang term. Do you get what I mean? Parang, ayoko maabuso eh. So, ano pong suggestions po ninyo how we can actually, yes, we want to embrace AI, but at the same time, we don't want to abuse it. We don't want people to abuse it in that sense. Thank you.
Sige. Actually, this is a question that was in one of the certification programs that I handled. Isa to sa mga question na ni-raise. And I'm going to take the perspective of a non-HR person and an IT person kasi si AI, and if we are going to be specific about it, Copilot, ChatGPT, ano ba ba? Ano ba yung kay Google? Google Bard, I think. This can actually be limited. So, pwede ito na gagamitin mo siya na nakalimit lang yung paghuhugutan niya ng information to a set of information lang, let's say within the organization or kung ano pa man. Meron lang, ito-tweak mo siya so that it does not pull information coming from other resources. Hindi siya kukuha doon sa naka-open sa public, kukuha lang siya sa kung ano yung resources available within the organization. Pwede mo siyang i-train to do that and pwede mo siyang i-limit. But this is something na can be done from the IT side if you have a higher level or higher tier, I think, dun sa kung package na meron. So, pwede mo siya. So, it's not that it's not a policy. There's still some policy, but it's not an HR policy. It's more of an IT policy. Kasi sa atin sa HR, alam mo na mga empleyado, habang sinisikil, lalong nagiging nagpupuyos ang damdamin na abusuhin si ChatGPT. But ano doon palagi yung possibility naman talaga na maaabuso siya. And I've also experienced this dun sa mga estudyante ko sa college when they are writing research papers. Naku po, umasa ka na. Ito ay produkto ng ChatGPT. So what I usually do is that I ask them. So they give their paper and then the following day we actually have a discussion about their paper. So napo-force ngayon sila to really read about the subject and not just rely on ChatGPT. Of course, it's not something that we can do in the workplace, di ba? Hindi naman po pwedeng nagpasa sila ng document tapos meron kayong parang revalida the following day. But you can in passing ask them about it, give you more details about what they have given you. So, hindi sila nakakaramdam na para bang you don't trust them, but at the same time, you're still pushing them na dapat alam mo kung ano yung sinulat mo. Kay ChatGPT pa yun, kung ano pa man yan, dapat alam mo. Yun po.
Ako just also wanted to provide my thoughts doon sa question ni Bing, ni Maria, no. Ito ulit yung babalik na naman tayo doon sa educating, no? Educating everyone kasi everything, kasi we also use Microsoft 365, no? Lahat ng features controllable yan. Lahat ng gusto mong mangyari, if you want people to be able to send emails outside of the organization, pwede mo i-control yan. If you want to control the signatures of everyone, it can be controlled. AI as well and Copilot can be controlled sa Microsoft 365. So if it's something that we will be launching sa buong organization, even before launching it or even before activating it, dapat nagkaroon na ng some sort of training or education kung ano ba ang purpose nito, paano ba siya ginagamit, ano ba yung scope niya. And tama yung sinabi ni Rona kanina that you can limit yung access nung example nung platform na yon. Like, gusto mo kukuha lang siyang information from your employee handbook, from your code of conduct, para instead of, it will actually complement yung work ni HR na imbis na hanapin niya pa yung provision sa employee handbook or sa code of conduct, si Copilot mismo, ang bilis niyang ilalabas dun sa email. So it will save her time and they can focus on other important things then. So yun lang siguro, more of training everyone on how to use it. Kasi kahit ako mismo, I admit that I use AI. Grammarly is an AI tool, and I use Grammarly. I encourage everyone to have a Grammarly plugin. Kasi sometimes mas mabilis yung utak mo kaysa sa daliri mo eh. So kapag ang dami mong tinatype, makikita mo sa email mo, i-collect na ni Grammarly yung grammar mo, yung structure mo, etc. And it gives you the tone of your message. That's AI, and it can help send the right message across. Ganun din sa mga platforms na to, especially if it's a corporate or enterprise AI na ini-introduce, it can be controlled. And I also agree with what Rona said. It's not really an HR issue. It's an IT issue. We can, parang supplement things in place lang na parang misuse, abuse na nasa code of conduct. Pero it's really an IT concern, more of an HR concern. Doon naman sa abuse part, Siguro I would be needing more specific examples kung paano ba siya na-abuse. I mean, if your staff was able to send the right message across naman, kaya nag-AI siya or hindi, I don't really mind kung napabilis yung buhay niya, napabilis yung trabaho niya, mas marami siyang na-accomplish na emails, I don't really mind. Pero yun siguro hanggang saang extent siguro. Pero also, talk to IT, no? Sabihin kay IT na okay, ano na naman tong ini-introduce natin kasi ang ano pa naman ang workforce pa naman, lahat ng concern HR 'yan. Kahit na tech concern, sa HR pupunta
Oo
'yan,
naman.
'di
'Di
ba?
ba? Lahat naman kasalanan ng HR, 'di ba?
Oo, lahat kasalanan ng HR kahit hindi HR concern, sa HR pupunta 'yan. So, before they even implement something, tapos sasabihin na, "Oh, na-implement na namin 'yan, kayo HR, kayo gumawa ng policy." So, dapat it's the other way around. Before you implement something that will impact the employees, if it will impact the customers, kayong bahala. Mag-usap kayo ng operations or ng sales or ng kung sino man. But if it will impact the employees, reach out to us muna and then let's collaborate kung paano ba to um, mas spread into the workforce. Ano ba yung mga guidelines? Hindi pwedeng isang click lang o activate Copilot for everyone and then people will start asking questions going to HR na wala kang ka-idea kung ano yung Copilot. So yun lang siguro. Get back to IT, check kung ano yung limitations. Anything na enterprise level may limitations, lahat yan. And work together. Ganun naman lagi ang rule. If it involves people, involve HR. Yun naman
Thank you so much. John, ikaw, meron kang thoughts? I'm very sure
Yeah.
you do.
Thank you, Miss Ria. Yeah, you know me, madaldal talaga ako. Pero, so my thoughts, I agree with Sir Michael, Miss Rona, right? So technically, you can place as much governance or control over this Copilot or ChatGPT that is being used by your team right now. But let us think also first, why has this automation being invented in the first place, right? Robotic process automation. Why is it invented in the first place? That is to ease the life of the people in the HR. Kasi ang problem statement 15 years ago is there's a bulk of administrative task in HR operations. So much so, nabe-burn out yung mga tao, right? Remember the history. And yung historical din po na present ni Ms. Rona earlier. Now, that's why that's why providers, AI providers came in and see the process itself. Paano po ba papadaliin yung buhay ng HR? Or can we decrease the capacity, as mentioned ni Sir Michael kanina? We can decrease the capacity in the administrative nature, non-value added, so they could focus on strategic HR. Let's be honest with ourselves, di ba po? Sa HR, you don't want it to sit there doing payroll lang, or time and attendance validation. You wanted to also look into the strategic fun activities within the HR. Right? So that's why these bots are built there. So you could outsource some of those activities for them or to them, to that thing, as we call ChatGPT or Copilot. So that's just my ads, no, Miss Ria. I showed you before analytics, Miss Ria, right? So
Yeah.
it is diverse. You could see it. What's the churn rate look like? What's your retention? It varies. No, that's the purpose of it. It's to gather data as much. What's happening within the organization on a process basis, right? But again, it would never replace anything. It's just gonna ease things up. My suggestion is optimize it. It's there. It's gonna be there. It's part of our lives, no? So especially at the workplace right now. So that's just my I don't know kung long answer or short. Thank you, Ms. Ria.
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sir Jan. Thank you, Sir Miguel. Thank you, Ma'am Ron. As much as we wanted to answer pa all the questions that Ma'am Jorina and I have, siguro baka dun sa YouTube or Facebook natin, dun natin ilagay yung mga question. Then we hope we can tag Ma'am Rona, Sir Miguel, and Sir Jan to answer those questions. Tama ba, Ma'am Jorina?
Yes, tama. And you can reach out to them on their LinkedIn LinkedIn profiles. Follow nyo
Ayan.
na din, syempre.
Opo. Pero bago po yon, we would like to request kasi medyo may klase pa yata si Ma'am Rona. We would like to request everyone to please open your video for our, syempre, mandatory picture taking. Hindi pwedeng mawala yan kahit medyo may mga nawala, umalis ng mga natin, participant. Ma'am Jorina, can you please, ikaw magaling dito eh.
Okay, first slide. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, second slide. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay.
And, syempre, bago umalis si Ma'am Rona, I would like to, sorry, bakit naging begin? Sorry. I would like to present the certificate of appreciation. Unahin ko lang po yung kay Ma'am Rona. This certificate of appreciation for Ma'am Rona Dale Florentino for sharing her invaluable knowledge and expertise as resource speaker for the 104th HRE Knowledge entitled The Progression of HR Technology, a Comprehensive Overview via Zoom and Facebook Live at 2 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. given this 20th day of April 2024. Ma'am Rona, bago ka umalis, do you have any invitation or gustong sabihin sa ating mga participant this afternoon? Actually, umalis na ata si Ma'am Rona. You would like to invite our participant, Ma'am Rona?
Yes, invite ko lang po kayo. May upcoming po na HR Bootcamp sa Davao this coming May. And then we also have yun pong HR Bootcamp in Manila this coming August naman po. Medyo malayo-layo pa. So yung pinakamalapit muna is yung ating HR Bootcamp sa Davao po this coming May. For those who would like to register, punta lang po kayo sa website ng Uprush, uprush-sg.com, or visit nyo po yung Facebook page ni Uprush Social Geekers. Nandun po yung details ng ating HR Bootcamp. Yun po.
Thank you, Ma'am Rona, ulit. Sana hindi ka madalang makasama kami dito sa HR E-Knowledge for HR Calabarzon. Maraming salamat po at sana makasama ka ulit namin. Thank you, Ma'am Rona.
Thank you so much, Ebro. Sorry, nagmamadali ako. Wala na kasi kung pag-ano yung class namin mag-i-start na susunod.
Okay lang po, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much,
Thank you,
everyone.
ma'am.
Thanks po.
Ma'am Jorina, please do the honor of
For HR Calabarzon Group presents this certificate of appreciation to Sir John J. Garfin for sharing his invaluable knowledge and expertise as a panelist for our 104th HRE Knowledge entitled The Progression of HR Technology, a comprehensive overview via Zoom and Facebook Live at 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. given this 20th day of April 2024. Signed by Miss Neddy.
And Ma'am Razi? HR Calabarzon would like to present this certificate of appreciation sa ating Mr. Mikel Leroy Balansag for sharing his invaluable knowledge and expertise as a panelist for the 104th HR E-Knowledge entitled The Progression of HR Technology, a Comprehensive Overview via Zoom and Facebook Live at 2 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock given this 20th day of April 2024. Sir Mikel, Sir Jan, maraming salamat po sa pagbibigay ng inyong oras for free, ang hindi matapos-tapos na pagtulong at pagmamahal sa mga ka-HR natin sa HR Calabarzon. Do you have any invitation or something pwedeng i-impart sa ating mga taga-HR?
Namaste.
Yes, Sir Mikel?
Okay, so again, thank you. It's always an honor to join you guys sa HR Calabarzon. No? Every time na mag-i-invite si Neddy, hindi talaga ako tumatanggi kasi I've I've seen familiar names lagi. Tuloy-tuloy yung suporta ng everyone. 104th episode now, and I still see familiar names talagang forever taga-subaybay. And I hope you're learning as much as I am. We have HR Calabarzon, maraming mga learning programs na paparating, paid, free, in person. Hindi na natutulog yan sila Nedi and ang mga board ng HR Calabarzon to make sure that we help you sa lahat ng aspeto ng pagdating ng people management, HR, and leadership. So tuloy-tuloy lang yung suporta. Pinaghihirapan lahat ng mga programs na yan to make sure that they're timely, they're relevant, and talagang makakatulong sa inyo. Tuloy-tuloy nyo lang supportahan yung Facebook page nila. As for us at International HR Institute, we have monthly ongoing certification programs, yung certification for Comp and Ben, for Recruiter, for L&D, and we also have yung CPHR, yung Certified Practitioner for Human Resources. Mag-launch na kami very soon sa June ng second Comp and Ben conference. So abangan nyo na lang sa mga Facebook pages namin, pati yung Recruiter Summit bandang dulo ng taon. So abangan nyo na lang yan as always. And kahit sa mga events ng HR Calabarzon, we're always happy to provide raffles para at least yung mga iba na gustong-gusto talaga makapag-certify pero di na talaga kaya ng budget for now, at least makuha natin for discounted or baka libre pa. So tuloy-tuloy nyo lang na suportahan kasi marami tayong mga surprise pa raffle. Lalo na yung mga in-person events natin. Yun lang naman. Thank you everyone. Sana ma-invite ako ulit in the future and hope to see you guys again in person soon.
Thank you, Sir Mikel. Thank you sa pagbigay na agad nang pwede nilang mapanalunan para sa ating face-to-face HR paid learning. Ayan, in-announce na po ng ating
Ay, sorry, hindi pa ba dapat?
na maaari po kayong manalo ng discounted or free certification learning from International HR. Pwede po yung CPHR, pwedeng CCBP, pwedeng CRHP or ano nga yun, sir? ELD? Tama ba?
ELDP.
Ako. Ayan. So, alam nyo na po, guys. Kaya, sa mga nag-register na at sa mga magre-register pa, may nakaabang po sa ating additional learning. Sir Jan?
Yeah. Salamat po again. Thank you so much for having me here. Also, alongside with Sir Mikel, I